Seventh graders. Lesson 7-8. We're talking about interest in this lesson.
Go.
And there's two ways to calculate interest.
Go.
Yesterday we talked about simple interest. Stop talking now. Yesterday we talked about simple interest and the formula that goes with simple interest. Simple interest means that the interest is given to you based only on the original amount that you deposited into a bank account. All right? Let's go back and define what are some of these terms. Remember what interest means from yesterday? What does interest mean, or where does it come from? Emily? Good. It's the amount that of money that the bank gives you for basically being able to use your money. They use the money that you have deposited into your account at the bank. Okay? So a bank basically works like this. They provide a service, a place for you to store your money, a secure place where it's insured, so that if something were to happen, like the bank was robbed or something like that, you still get your money back. It's better than burying it in the backyard in cans like they used to do to store money. They would actually have pots, like jars of money that they would bury in the backyard so that they wouldn't get stolen. A bank is a much more secure place to keep your money. All right? But they provide that for individual people, and then they use that money, and they loan it out to other people so that people can buy a home, can buy a car, can start a business, can do all kinds of things like that. And when they loan it out to people, the people pay them interest, and in turn, they pay individuals interest for keeping their money at their bank. So that's what the interest comes from. It's the amount they get, or it's the amount that you would get if you put some money into the bank account. All right? That money that you put in is called the principal. Yep. The principal is the original amount that you put into an account. Okay? Then, they pay you interest based on an interest rate. That rate is a percentage. So they might pay you 1% annually, meaning that it's paid every year on your original amount. That would be a simple interest rate. Okay? Then to find the interest amount, you multiply the principal, the amount that you put in, times the rate as a decimal. You have to convert it to a decimal and make sure you understand that rate is a percentage. And then the time in years. For simple interest, it's I equals P times R times T. The interest amount equals the principal times the rate times the time. So in this example we did yesterday, if you put in $900, what is that called? Tyler. What is that called, that $900? $900 deposit. That's money. That's the principal. And then if they pay you 3%, that's the rate. Yep. And 5, if you multiply that by 5, that refers to what?
Years.
Yeah, 5 years. Right. And what we get when we multiply those together is $135. What would that amount be? What is that amount called, Max? Okay, it's the interest or the amount of gain in those 5 years. Okay? That's called simple interest. Now, if we added the interest amount to the principal, that word is called the balance in the account. The balance refers to the amount of money in the account currently. All right? So if we add these two together, we get the, what, Carson? The balance. Yep. Why is it $135, Cole?
Because you added 135 and 900.
Right. Adding the interest amount and the principal gives you a new amount. Okay? Now, that's important because in today's lesson, we're going to be talking about compound interest. And compound interest is a different way of paying you. Instead of paying you 3%, if we would go back to this example, and instead of paying you 3% each year for the original amount, compound interest means that they would pay you 3%, but it's on the new balance each year. So as the balance increases, the amount of money you're getting is increasing. Even though the rate is the same, you're getting a percentage of a bigger amount. So, for example, 1% of $100 is $1. 1% of $200 is $2. It's twice the amount. Not because the rate is higher, next, but why? No, not the years. The amount of money, the balance or the principal is higher. Okay? So, as you get paid, you're going to get more money each year. That's called compounding. All right? And let's start with this idea with number 1 on your sheet. So on your worksheet, we're going to find the amount of money that you would get, or the amount of total money you would have after 3 years if you deposited $400. So $400 was the principal. Lydia? All right, here's the next one. So $400 was the principal, and then we're going to use this formula. The number 1, instead of just multiplying it by the rate, what we're going to do is multiply it by 1 plus the rate. That 1 represents 100% of the principal. That's why we use the number 1. 100% as a decimal is 1. So we're going to use 1 plus the rate, and if the rate is 7%, how would we find this number in the parentheses? What would that decimal number be?
0.07.
Close. That's the decimal form of this, 0.07 plus 1. So we're going to use what?
1.07.
Good, 1.07. That's going to be our rate amount that we're going to use. Now, to get this number, this is time, and this is going to be an exponent. It's represented by the letter n. And it's not the number t like in the other formula, because n doesn't refer to the time, but it's going to refer to something kind of like time. It's going to refer to the number of times that the percentage rate is calculated in a year. So if it's calculated once a year, then if we're given 3 years at once a year, then the number is 3. Because it's just once each year. First year, second year, third year. Okay? there's something called semi-annual interest, where the interest is actually calculated twice a year. So if it was calculated for using semi-annual interest for 3 years, then how many times would the number be calculated?
6 times.
6 times. Then our exponent would be 6 in 3 years. All right? So that's why that letter is an N and not a T. It's not time in years, but it's the number of times that the interest is calculated. If it's annually, then it's once a year. And if it's semi-annually, then it's twice a year. So then you multiply the number of years times 2. Okay? Now that we know where that number comes from, let's finish this example. Okay? So in number 1 on your worksheet, write down 400 times, no, on your worksheet, write down 400 times 1.07 to the third power. This one is calculated annually for 3 years. Write down 400 parentheses 1.07 to the third power. So that it looks like this. Okay? Then put that into your calculator. What do you get? Bryce? No. And listen, you gotta use the procedures, okay? Not right now. You're gonna have to wait a little bit. Nate, 490? Anyone else get 490? Okay.
How do you do the to the third power on the calculator?
You use this little symbol called the caret. It looks like an upside down V.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay. So 490. What is that number? Where does it come from?
It's a dog.
Daria. Where does that number come from, Daria? Well, how do you get, like, what does that number mean?
Oh, it means that's how much you're gonna get if you leave your money there for 3 years.
Close. That number, part of that number is that money, is that amount. That's called the interest. And the other part is the yeah, it's the principal and the interest together. The 400 plus the amount that you get for interest, 490. So that number is called the what? Brett? The balance. Yep. So in the first one, write down 490 as the balance. Now, skip to number 3. Cool.
Can I go see in my locker if I have my calculator?
Can't you wait? You'll have to wait. All right. Skip to number 3. We're going to do another example, and I'm going to let you work on this, okay? In number 3, it says that we're starting with a principal amount of $1,200, and we're going to be paid 4% semi-annually, which means how many times per year? Yeah. Yeah, 2 times per year for 2 years. Now, when you're doing semi-annual interest, here's what you have to do to adjust for that. What you'll have to do is divide the interest rate by 2 and multiply the number of years by 2. So if it's 2 years, because we're finding semi-annual interest, it's going to be calculated 2 times per year. So that's how we get the exponent. But we don't get 4% every time, we get half of that every time. So we have to divide the rate by 2 and then multiply the years by 2. Okay? Now, put this formula together. And then I'll let you work and let you use the rest of it. Alright? So, put this formula together. Somebody raise your hand if you know what to do with this formula, how to put this formula together. More than 2 people. I'm going to need like 90% of you to raise your hands in order for us to be able to move on. Because I need to see that most of you know how to do this. Okay? Alex?
Wouldn't you, it would be 1,200, then it would be times, since you have to do 4% divided by 2, which is like,
Yep. Let's start with this number.
okay, the 1.
1. Now go on and say what you were going to say.
Then you have to do the 4% divided by 2, which would be 2%. Yeah, 2%.
Good.
So then you have to put that there, the 2%, and then you have to
So 0.02, right?
Yeah, and then parentheses, and then you have to add the exponent, which would be, wait, 2 times 4? I thought it would 2 times 2. Yeah, 4. So then it would be 4.
Good. Does everyone understand where these numbers came from? Where does the 1,200 come from, class?
Principal.
The principal. Where does the 1 come from?
I don't know.
The rate.
That's the one that's in the formula. Okay? You always use 1 right here in the formula. Okay? Where does the 2% come from? Good. Semi-annual, it says you have to divide the rate by 2 in your procedure. Where does the number, the n, come from? Where does that number 4 come from?
2 times 2.
Multiply the... Good. All right. That's what you need to know to finish your worksheet. So, let's work on that together in class now.
Can I give